It's time to answer the question that photographers, videographers, and audiovisual content creators have been asking since the mirrorless system first debuted. Is mirrorless the future of digital image making? We would argue that, in this particular case, the future is already here, and the mirrorless system is the present-day pinnacle for both stills and motion image creators. Let's unpack this statement with our top 10 reasons why you should consider switching to the mirrorless system right now. First up, the electronic viewfinder advantage. We're putting this at the top of our list because it is undoubtedly the primary benefit of the mirrorless camera system. One of the frustrations with the DSLR system, especially for newer photographers, is getting used to anticipating how your image is going to come out based purely on the exposure settings you've chosen. Will it be too underexposed? Too overexposed? Who knows? Thanks to the electronic viewfinder, or EVF, you as the image maker can now see exactly what the camera sees based on the settings you've chosen for your aperture, shutter speed, and ISO. No more guesswork required. What you see through the EVF is exactly how your image will look. The EVF also picks up any barrel distortion that you may experience when shooting on a wider lens, and it even allows you to get an absolutely crystal clear preview of your scene when you are shooting in pitch darkness, which simply isn't possible on a DSLR. All of these advantages come together to produce an easier, more efficient, and significantly faster shooting experience that will appeal to first-time digital photographers and experienced image makers alike. We're going to jump to our next point in a hot second, but I wanted to just come in for a moment and say that if you are enjoying this video so far and finding it helpful, it would be super amazing if you would consider giving this video a like. All it means is that we then know that this is the type of content you want to see more of, and we can go ahead and create that for you. So, what are you waiting for? Tap that like button. Number 2, unmatched autofocus performance. Gone are the days when mirrorless cameras had to rely on clunky contrast detector autofocus to help you get the shot. In recent years, the manufacturers of mirrorless cameras were able to figure out how to get a hybrid of the accurate contrast detect autofocus system and the rapid phase detect autofocus system to operate on the actual sensor of the unit. This results in autofocus that is both snappier and sharper than what a DSLR can produce. This isn't where the superiority of mirrorless autofocus ends, however. Because the image you are seeing is projected directly onto the camera's sensor, the camera's processor is then able to augment what the autofocus system is already capable of doing. In simple terms, you get autofocus that is able to swiftly and accurately track subjects, faces, and even eyes, eliminating the need to worry about whether your subject will be in focus or not. Number 3, travel light. By this stage, this is a well-documented fact. Mirrorless cameras are significantly smaller and lighter than DSLRs. This is due to DSLRs requiring a mirror and a pentaprism in order for their viewfinders to function. Without these additional internal components, mirrorless cameras are able to be far more compact than their older and clunkier counterparts. Possible advantages of this include being able to comfortably shoot for longer or increased portability for those who often travel with their cameras. For those who do prefer the heftier bodies of a classic DSLR, there are mirrorless cameras that do deliver a similar ergonomic functionality, such as the Canon R5 or the R3, for example, and even the newer Sony Alpha bodies. Number 4, shoot faster bursts. Sport, action, and wildlife photographers, listen up. When shooting bursts in electronic mode, in other words with no intervention from a shutter mechanism, mirrorless cameras can achieve unparalleled burst rates, uniquely suited to capturing fast-moving subjects such as athletes, cars, wild animals, and birds in flight. With the latest in mirrorless technology, as seen in the EOS R3 at the time of this video being released, this can be as fast as 30 frames per second in RAW. There is no DSLR on the market that can match this blistering pace. Number 5, superior video capabilities. If you want to be on the cutting edge of what is possible with modern video production, mirrorless is where it's at. Everything that is mission critical for video creators, rock-solid sensor shift IBIS, the ability to shoot in log, unbeatable autofocus, and superior and more versatile recording formats is delivered in even some of the more prosumer or entry-level mirrorless cameras. When you consider the added benefits provided by a more compact size and the lighter weight of the smaller bodies, such as increased and easier mounting options on the likes of gimbals, there really is no reason to not consider a mirrorless machine if you are a videographer in need of industry-leading performance. Number 6, cleaner, crisper images. The reason for that is twofold. Firstly, there is an inverse relationship with the distance between the rear element of the lens and the camera sensor, referred to as the flange distance. The shorter this distance, the better the image quality. Due to the absence of the internal chamber needed for the mirror, as seen in DSLRs, this is something mirrorless cameras can accomplish effortlessly. Secondly, as a follow-on from this point, the manufacturers of mirrorless lenses are now able to design and produce more efficient optics. Less glass equals less color and image distortion. Additionally, when you consider that many of the higher-end mirrorless cameras possess sensors that are in excess of 40 megapixels, it certainly makes sense as to why the image quality they can produce is better than anything that a DSLR is capable of. Number 7, get the shot without disturbing the scene. One of the additional benefits that comes with the aforementioned compact size of mirrorless bodies is inconspicuousness. Combining this characteristic with their ability to shoot completely silently thanks to the electronic shutter, mirrorless cameras are uniquely suited to shooting scenarios where discretion and effective invisibility are a must. Think documentary work, street photography, and still shooting on film sets. Number 8. Go beyond full frame. Need even more megapixels and frames that go beyond uncropped 35mm? Mirrorless is the answer, especially if you want to get more for less. With mirrorless cameras such as the Fujifilm GFX 100S, you can have access to up to 100 megapixel sensors and medium format frame sizes at comparatively affordable price points when the only other alternatives are your Hasselblads and Phase 1s. This is another area where DSLR technology simply cannot compete. We've got 2 more points coming up that we're going to mention, but before we dive into those, I just wanted to say that if you enjoy camera gear reviews or comparisons between different type of gear, as well as incredible film photography related content and general other educational videos about filmmaking, creativity, and photography, you should really consider subscribing to OrmsTV and tapping that notification bell to get updated whenever we upload new videos. Number 9. Preview your effects. Is mirrorless the future? Perhaps the fact that you can preview your visual effects in camera provides some kind of answer. Traditionally, with a DSLR, you would have had to shoot your images in RAW and apply any color filters as part of your post-processing workflow. Mirrorless cameras, however, allow you to preview any in-camera filters or effects directly through the EVF or on the LCD screen. Moreover, you can shoot with the effect applied in JPEG format and then retain the unprocessed duplicate images in RAW, giving you the freedom to go in and re-edit them in post. We haven't even mentioned the other preview-related benefits of shooting on a mirrorless camera, such as live histograms, focus peaking, and zebra for monitoring overexposure, which are largely unavailable when shooting on DSLRs. Finally, number 10, future-proof your creativity. At the end of the day, if you have the means to go mirrorless, this should be your primary motivating factor. Are DSLRs still relevant in the present context? Yes. Is mirrorless the future? Also yes. And they have unquantifiable advantages and benefits in the current time too. The simple fact of the matter is that while they may still continue to be manufactured for many years to come, the remaining benefits of shooting on the DSLR system will be eroded with every new mirrorless release. Eventually, shooting on a DSLR may even become a slight inconvenience, the same way that being a film photographer in today's modern era has become. When you also take into account the innumerable advantages you gain from the current generation of mirrorless cameras, the EVF, the superior autofocus, the travel-friendly size, greater burst speeds, unbeatable video performance, just to list a few, there really is no reason to not go mirrorless today. Can you think of any other advantages of the mirrorless system that we haven't mentioned in this video so far? If you can, drop them in the comments below. We'd love to learn from your unique experiences with shooting on this type of camera. Well everyone, that wraps up our top 10 reasons why you should consider going mirrorless as soon as you possibly can. We hope that you found this video helpful if you are making the decision to move over to the mirrorless system. Until next time, cheers!